Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. That's the latest and greatest Audi RS7. If you want one and you're in America, it's the base price of $127,000. I saw one yesterday on the road and they're really quite nice, so if I had that kind of money, I'd probably have one. But I haven't, so I can't. Anyway, enough about that. As you know, there's been a lot of things on the internet about the traditional wives, and lots of women on TikTok saying that they don't want to be a boss babe anymore and they want to be a traditional wife and look after their husband and have his children and all this, that and the other. Except a lot of them are calling their potential husband their partner, their person. Never a husband, if you'd take any notice of their TikTok videos. So there's been a lot of stuff I've found, but I've had to thin it right down, and one of the things I found wasn't this. I'm waiting for a parcel. I've ordered an extra large suitcase because I won't be using me ski coffin bag this season, as I'll be renting skis and buying skis for the 2026 season. Anyway, I found this. As you can see, it's CNBC and it's Women and Wealth, and it says the rise of traditional wife, why some women say they're opting out of work. So their plan is to get a husband, be a traditional wife for a bit, while they opt out of work, live at home, and then maybe, once they get bored with being a traditional wife, they'll divorce their husband and take half his stuff. This article was actually done by two women, Jessica Dickler and Anna Teresa Sola, and this was done on April 24th this year. The key points: latest traditional wife and stay-at-home girlfriend trends, you notice, show an idealized view of adhering to traditional gender roles. In other words, it's just a fad that women today are currently going through on TikTok and social media. And it says staying at home necessitates a degree of privilege that fewer young adults have today. And if anything, young women are working more, not less, for outgoing and foregoing paid labour comes at a steep economic cost. And some women are scaling back at work, a recent study shows. Female workforce frustrated with fewer rises and less career advancement. But that's a moot point. And it says, if TikTok is any guide, more women are taking a traditional approach to romantic partnerships. Some say they are even opting out of the workforce entirely in favour of so-called, quote, soft life centred around their home, their family and their own well-being. They obviously don't know how hard it can be to be a housewife. It says, re-enter the traditional wife, one of social media's growing trends. It shows a curated look at women embracing domesticity as the antithesis of what other young women are experiencing, i.e. women in the cultural treadmill who are working hard and barely scraping by. And it says the thing about traditional wives is it feels very different. It is an escape from other people's reality. In other words, it's a trend that they think that they have an easier life being a stay-at-home wife, i.e. traditional wife. Hey up. Grey divorce has doubled since the 1990s and the financial risk is high for women. Let's see what that says. Sorry about this, people. That was done March 23rd this year. Rate of divorce among Americans aged 50 has doubled since the 1990s and tripled for adults over 65. Daft old bints. So-called grey divorce puts women at a high financial risk? No shit. These are steps women take now to protect themselves. Don't get divorced for a start. Sorry about that, people. And then it said, going back to this article, when it comes to women and money, the data largely isn't favourable. And then it goes on about the gender gap with the pays, and then yada, yada, yada. And so SAHG, stay-at-home girlfriends, create an imbalance in the relationship at the onset, is more troubling. The joint account, the money newsletter for couples, for the stay-at-home girlfriend, the power dynamic is even more skewed in favour of their partner because they really have everything to lose. In other words, she can be left homeless and penniless. And then more yada yada yada. And it says, if anything, women are working more now, not less, of course, than the corporate treadmill. Prime-age women, including mothers, are participating in the labour force more than ever before. In 2023, women's unemployment had recovered from pandemic area losses, and in 2023 and in 2024, labour force participation for women in America age 25 to 54 neared an all-time high, according to America's Bureau of Labour Statistics. Up, breaking. Stocks making the biggest moves pre-market: Apple, Amazon, Pfizer, Heresy and more. Pfizer because you got the bird flu creeping into the American medical establishment. The pandemic with COVID was a trial run. You're going to have that repeated again. Brother Nathaniel's been covering that on the BitChute because he has a new channel because YouTube has kicked him off. Anyway, that's a moot point. And then more yada yada. There's a great new set of men who are saying that overwork is not their first priority anymore. That could be a half-hearted nod towards the MGTOW effect. Rodsky said these men who may have already logged long hours are now dialing back. As I said, that could be just a half-hearted acknowledgement that MGTOW is now a thing in American society. But anyway, that's CNBC. I've also, looking around, found this on ABC News. Tradwife lifestyle trends on social media, and the internet is divided. Social media influencers prompt traditional gender roles in the home, and these are the three influencers. It's just somewhat like the previous article, but this bit stood out. The definition of a tradwife is not merely someone who stays at home. It says Monica Hess, a columnist from Bezos' Rag, but someone who romances it in a retro nostalgic way, where we are looking back not only at the way things worked in the 1950s in America, but the values that families had in the 1950s in America. It says more than 56% of American women are in the American workforce. And the Bureau, higher than in the 1950s. Statistics show that in 2017, 54% of all U.S. households had two couples compared to only 26 in 1955. In other words, it takes two wages to run an American household today, unless you're a single man and you can run it on your own. In addition, more than 80% of single parents are mothers. That song, she let him hit it raw, and now she's a single mom. What's the other bit? There we go. Someone who romances single mothers on the TikTok and the social media. Someone who romances it to return to a nostalgic way of life. We're looking back not only at the way things worked in the 50s, but the values the families had in the 1950s, what I've just covered. It's a trend, people. They don't really want to be a traditional wife. It's, women go into, the social thing, and it's the current thing, you could say. And at the moment, being a traditional wife is the current thing, and then you get these social media people promoting it to American women that they should be going that route. But it's not going to be that way. You can't really go back to the way America was in the 1950s. But anyway, this is more yada yada, and where is it? But many women may not think that they have to choose. A board-certified surgeon and book of the author has been married for nearly 20 years and has 3 children. There's a lot of criticism on social media about who's raising our kids right now. Why do you have kids if you can't raise them? Of course, if she's working, who's raising the children? No one would say that to a man, of course not. The man's job is to provide an income to keep the family going, and the woman's job traditionally is to stay at home and raise the children and look after the home. And then more yada yada. I know that moms love their children. I think a lot of people assume that telling everybody you need to do this and you need to live like me, and I'm not, but I think a lot of women should consider it. My message is that you can if you want this. Well, that's what's going on social media. I've also, looking around, found this. Parents. This was done on August 15th, 2024 by, again, another woman. It says, what is a traditional wife? It's not the same as a stay-at-home mom. That could be a stay-at-home single mom. If you're not familiar, traditional wife refers to a married woman who embraces traditional gender roles, particularly focusing on homemaking and supporting her husband by raising their children, cooking and keeping the house clean, while he serves as a primary breadwinner, like my parents. Because I don't remember mum ever going out to work. And it says, for some it represents a return to traditional values and a way of life, and they see as fulfilling and meaningful. On the other hand, detractors view it as an attempt to restrict women's rights and limit their potential. And then we go on about the traditional, Tradwives, that's in social media, that's us on there. Influencers posted an explained video on the movement. She feels Tradwives have chosen to submit to their husband and serve them. No, she's playing her role like an actress. And there's no shortage of traditional wives content in social media. These carefully curated feeds offer a peek into picturesque lives filled with daily elaborate meals prepared by hand with wholehearted ingredients in expensive kitchens. You notice it's always an expensive house, family time, smiling children, blah, blah, blah. These women are actresses. They're portraying a role, it's like on a movie, and they're the center of it. You know that, as you know, guys, women always want attention, and this is their way of getting it. But anyway, it goes more yada yada about it. Why traditional wife is trending now. The catalyst of our sudden interest can probably be traced back to one woman, Hannah Needleman, and then all about her, yada yada yada, even more. And actually put all these links below. But some women don't like the idea of going back. This woman, for a start, Tradwives and Fundy, which is Trust Fund Babies, America in 2024. This was done on March 15th this year. And it's a piece full of nastiness and anger. This bit is what sets the tone of the entire article. In the decade since I chose the US, especially since the election of Donald Trump, unleashing a hatred and racism and ignorance that stuns many worldwide. No, it didn't. I've become less and less enamored with the shiny rhetoric of America, the bastion of freedom and liberty for all. The current mood towards immigrants, towards women, back to the kitchen and always towards non-white Americans. The African Americans in America are faring better than Africans in Africa. It became more hateful and louder every day. State after state is moving to restrict access to abortion, trying to criminalize every effort a woman or teenage girl makes to control her own body. She should not open her legs to every Tom, Dick and Chad. Then she has a low body count, which makes her more desirable to become a wife and mother. And then he goes more yada yada, and then she on The Guardian, which is a British leftist newspaper. But anyway, you can read her rantings when you click on the link below. But what is a traditional wife? It's not the same as saying home mum. Of course not. But these women are putting a false narrative on the whole aspects of traditional wives. And even though it's rising in America, it's just a passing fad for a lot of American women, and they don't really want to be a traditional wife. They just like the idea of playing the role as a traditional wife. I think I'm on the 15 minutes mark now, so I'll leave it at that. I'll try and find some more, because I found an awful lot of this, but it could be another topic on the MGTOW scene. So until next Monday, you know the routine, people. That's it for me. Bye-bye.